What's going on, everybody? And thank you for joining me on The Art and the Artist. I'm your host, LA Phil. On this episode, I get to speak with Fort Myers, Florida based artist Jade Griffin. An incredible self taught traditional artist, Jade uses her artwork as a form of expression when words just aren't enough, as a way to tell her truth. In her own words, her artwork centers around Black culture, gender, race, identity, and sexuality. All of the things that make her who she is. It just so happens that this interview was taking place a couple months before her first solo exhibit, and I am so excited for her. In my opinion, Jade is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the art world for a very long time, but don't take my word for it. So without further ado, I present to you, Jade.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Please welcome Jade to the show. Thank you so much for joining me today, taking the time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm just happy to be here and I'm happy that I'm able to talk about my craft with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a fan of yours. I'm gonna get into the pieces later because there's some of your pieces that I want to go a little bit deeper into. Yeah, it's very emotional. I really like your style of art. It's fantastic. Where did you grow up?
So I'm based in Florida, Fort Myers, and I'm still here. It's where I'm from.
Okay.
And that's really where I really just gained most of my inspiration from, really
Okay.
from how I grew up being from the city, a small town in Fort Myers, Florida.
Okay. Okay. And in what way would you say that your environment shaped the way that you create art? Is it, I mean, I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah, so I would say definitely a lot of the things that I went through growing up and a lot of the things that I've seen also, especially being who I am, which is my truth is being Black, and a lot of the things that me and my family went through, but mainly me specifically. And a lot of that emotion just drives my work, and a lot of my work really just take place with a lot of the things that I've seen from other people and what they've experienced, and I just internalize all of that, and it's just a way for me to just output and just release all of that so people can really see where I'm coming from without me really expressing myself through words because I never really was able to really express myself through words that often. So I really found art to be an outlet for me to really express myself.
Okay, that's great. I like the way you put that. You know what? I
You-
wanted to start this show out by reading here the statement on your Etsy page because I think is really powerful. I really like the description you gave of yourself, if you don't mind. All
No,
right.
thank you. Go ahead.
All right. It says, well, I have always made art, but what made me pursue my passion on a professional level was the need to tell the truth, my truth. I make artwork around Black culture, identity, gender, race, and sexuality, all the things that make me me. I make art telling my stories of growing up through the lens of a Black androgynous woman from the South and how those experiences shape the way I navigate through society today and going forward. When I read that, I was like, oh, that's perfect. Without even knowing you, I was okay.
Right,
I can get an idea of who this artist is. That's beautiful.
right.
I just wanted to read that out there.
No, I really appreciated that because
Mhm.
beforehand, before I dropped the website, I was like, should I keep this on there? Should I let people really know I know a bit of myself that before they even really look at my work or just let them, figure out the work on their own and really just get their own perspective before they actually dive deeper
Mhm.
into myself. But a part of me felt like if they're going on my page, they already basically know a bit about me and my work. So I just,
Mhm.
and even to the ones that don't, I feel like it's a good thing to keep on there. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that you like it for sure.
Yeah. It's honest, and people like honesty. I mean, real people like honesty. Some people like you to lie to their face, but that's completely honest and open right there. I love it. Okay.
Right. Same here.
Mhm. Were you always artistic growing up? Did you know that you had this gift?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't even want to come talking about it through a perspective like, oh, I've always known, but I did. I've always
Mhm.
known that I was very artistically inclined because that was something that I drew more to
Mhm.
younger than any other topic or any other thing growing up. Like nothing else interested me than
Mhm.
creating because creating can come from a place to where, I would say from places that we normally wouldn't share ourselves from.
Hmm.
And it comes from a place where people normally wouldn't see something or see a certain perspective. And it comes from an emotional and mental and spiritual place that we try, try to, leave in the back of our minds without really
Yeah.
sharing to people.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've definitely known for a while.
That's good. That's good. That's a good answer. It's an honest answer. I feel like a lot of artists want to beat around the bush, but no, you know that that's great. Okay,
No, hell
so
yeah, like I thought about this shit a lot for real though.
yeah,
Like
uh-huh,
you don't want to go into this shit being dishonest to nobody. You got to be real with yourself before
yeah,
anything. You know,
uh-huh,
everybody's story is different.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, how long have you been professional artist full time?
Full time. That's funny. Literally, this year I
Right.
wanted to go for it during when the first pandemic hit with COVID. I wanted to go for it,
Mm-hmm.
but I was being a little bit too on the safe side, especially with me getting laid off at that time.
Okay.
When the first pandemic started, that's when I started selling my pieces on a consistent basis and
Mm-hmm.
started making custom work on clothes, like doing custom clothes for people, and I really like doing that well. So now recently, like it's like another thing just came around where it's like another opportunity came around where I know more now, I'm more knowledgeable on shit now, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I know for sure this is what I want. It was like kind of like a trial. Then when the pandemic first started, I was
Uh-huh.
like, mm, and still having like a part-time job when I was able to get one. But now it's like, okay, for sure, I'm really gonna take this to the next
Yeah.
level.
Okay. That's great. So, did the pandemic affect the way you created in any way? Having more time on your hands, did it make you a little bit more prolific, or did you find yourself kind of stuck during the pandemic?
I definitely took that more as so of an opportunity more than being stuck
Mm-hmm.
because I see myself, I have this time on my hands. The government just gave us another stimulus. So, I'm
Yeah.
good for the next couple of months on my bills. So I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just this is something that I've been pondering on my mind before then because I had friends that were moving out of town and doing their own thing. And it's like, why don't I do something that I've always wanted to do since
Yeah.
I was a kid? Because if I don't do it now, then when am I gonna have that opportunity to do it? When am I gonna give myself the chance to really chase something that I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I took that more so as an opportunity to really do and just get in the process of acting more than thinking. And it's just been good ever since then. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed the process of it. So
Yeah.
now
That's
I'm just
great.
happy.
How did your friends and family feel when you told them, all right, I'm going to pursue this full time professionally? Did you get any blowback because of that?
It's like I'm gonna say it like this. It's like they don't want to be the one to kill your dreams,
Yeah.
but they'll say that they believe in you, but not in the most confident tone, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, do it. Yeah, I believe in you. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. But when they see people outside of them in other places really starting to reach out to me, doing this, doing that, they're like, oh, yeah, you should do it. Yeah, keep going, keep going. And it's
Yup.
like, you kind of knew it's one of those things when you are the person that's creating the art,
Yeah.
you knew that was going to happen. You knew that people were just going to turn around and switch and change their minds as soon as they see other people fucking with it. It's kind of like it's really a society thing, honestly.
Yeah.
When you really come from a small town or a place and you really start chasing your dreams head on with no even through the fear
Yeah.
and just pursuing through it all. Like I'm still trucking right now. And they
Hmm.
see you doing all these big things and it's like, damn, like now they think, damn, I can do it. Like, if she doing it, why
Yeah.
can't I pursue something that I want to do? She's doing really good at it. Or like, like
Yeah.
they start to really change their minds about it. Cause at first, they're kind of like, yeah, Jay, we believe in you. And then they'll come up with some and say something. Well, do you have a plan B? Do you
Uh-huh.
have this? Do you have that? And I'm like, no. This is the plan B. This
Yeah.
is the
Uh-huh.
plan A and B.
Yeah.
So, because nothing really, if you want to see something work, you're gonna have to work at it to see the progress. And not only that, you have to know that progress is not gonna come in quick timing, because I've seen people come and go when they expect something or a business or something to take off within a year. I'm
Yeah.
2, 3 years going at it now, and not only like I'm doing things at my own pace in my own time, but everything is really just flowing naturally, and
Mhm.
it's actually doing really well. Like I have my own show coming up in the next 2 months. So
That's
it's
awesome.
like, exactly. So it's like, and I think of it in a way as if, I'm 22 now. I'm gonna take advantage of every opportunity that I have while being young, while
Mhm.
being full of energy, while having the time now to network, because it's
Mhm.
really about who you know.
Yeah.
So just being bold and just taking risks. I have nothing else to lose. Like I don't have a job anymore. I have nothing else to really lose at this point, but to really
Mhm.
go up from here and what I really want to do. So why waste time doing something that I don't want, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you're not going to go in 100%, like with everything you got, you might as well not do it at all because you're kind of setting yourself up to fail. You're giving yourself a path to succeed, and,
Exactly.
that's beautiful. And a show coming up. Is this your first solo show?
Yep, it's
Wow.
gonna be my first solo show. And
Mhm.
ever since I started this year, I've had group shows.
Mhm.
So I've had about 2 or 3 group shows, and this would be my first official solo show
That's
from
great.
this year. So
That's great. That's great.
appreciate
I
that.
love it. I love it. Oh man, I wish I was out there. I'd go see it. Do you think that
I
being from a
appreciate
small
that.
town that maybe hinders your growth as an artist? Because I'm not sure the art scene where you are. Because I mean, there's places in Florida. I mean, I'm not too sure how far away you are from, where they do have a bunch of galleries and the scene is kind of popping like that. Do you think that being from a small town is a hindrance?
A part of me will say yes, because you won't really have any of the connections that you want. And at the same time, you have to use what you have already in front of you in order to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the place where I'm at right now. Like right now, because I live in Fort Myers, I'm about 2 hours away from Tampa. I'm about
Mhm.
2 hours out from any
Uh,
big town that has any creative scene. So
yeah.
I'm 2 hours out from Tampa, 2 hours out from St. Pete, 2 hours out from Sarasota, 2 hours out from Miami, and that's somewhere I'm really gonna make my way to next. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like it's all about that thing where you just take risks. You just take risks and you just go out there and you just go to those places and reach out to those people, even on social media, and then make your way out there like the best way that you can.
Yeah. 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 That's what you got to do. Just talking to you for this little bit right now, you'd fit right in the LA art scene, man. I swear. You'd be perfect here.
I really appreciate that. Like,
Uh,
I ain't even gonna lie, that's something that I dream about often. Like, people don't even know. Like, I really dream about this art shit, even in my sleep. I
yeah.
want to go to, I imagine myself being in New York, LA,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia,
Yeah.
a lot of different places. And it's just all about the end goal. And there's really no end goal. It's just about just the journey of
Yeah.
just keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really what I'm enjoying right now.
Absolutely. That's one. You're so young too. That's perfect. Yeah. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I can tell. I got a good eye.
I
All right.
appreciate that for sure.
Uh-huh. Okay. So talk about fear. And let's see, maybe was there ever a time that you thought, all right, I'm not sure if I can do this, or I'm not getting the eyes that I want on me? And if that was the case, what did you do to persevere through
Honestly, you're asking a lot of good questions. I really like
that?
this a lot.
Good.
So, yeah, so when it comes to fear, like I've always been fearful of a lot of things. And art is just one of those things that I'm, I see it in a way as if I'm afraid, then I'm really just afraid of me becoming myself. And But with that, I'm more afraid of complacency. So, with that being said, there has been a time, like even I don't even consider myself even as big yet, but just starting out, I would kind of be like, like, damn, so and so is doing this, so and so is doing that. But I just quickly switch into being in a mode like it just makes me want to go harder. Well, it just
Mhm.
makes me okay. I'm gonna have the best show out.
Yeah.
Okay, you're having this and this and this. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do this and this and this. Like just seeing stuff like that and even those doubtful thoughts in me, like I let it go in one ear out the other. And I just
Mhm.
really just use that to really drive me forward.
Mhm.
I use the risks that I take to drive me forward because it's crazy enough because I've been fearful from a lot of things for so long is I kind of use that as it's like a thing to me where what's the word I'm looking for? I kind of use fear as like it's kind of like a friend of mine.
Okay.
So being
Yeah.
afraid of something, and there's a saying that I've heard, when you're afraid of something, that's how you know you should do it.
Oh,
And I
well, that's
really
good.
just go by
Mm.
that. And it's like the feel the fearful you are of something, the fearful that I become at something, it just has like this thing inside of me that it just drives this adrenaline inside of me that makes me want to do it more
Yeah.
because I'm fearful about it. So I'm kind of working with my fears instead of kind of working against it. And I kind of use that to my advantage.
Okay.
So nowadays I can't really say I'm like afraid of something. I can get nervous, but
Sure.
never really afraid to do something because I'm just gonna end up doing it anyways. And
Yeah.
usually what we're afraid of is usually something that we it always ends up turning out well.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just keep that mindset and try to keep an up positive mindset and just use the work that I put in behind it and nothing can really go wrong.
Okay.
So
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a deep answer. I like that. Okay. Get on about it. It's a good. I knew it was gonna be a good conversation. All right.
same. When you reached out, when I was watching I was watching your shows. I was like, yeah, he's a pretty LA Phil. Yeah, he's a pretty chill guy
Yeah.
to really talk to,
Yeah.
and you actually
Uh-huh.
really good ask questions. So I know we were gonna get it in for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. See, that's why I like this style because I mean I've seen other art interview kind of shows, and I'm
Mm,
not saying I'm doing something like crazy original, but it's always very,
mm,
very buttoned down, very, suit and tie sort of thing. And I feel like you get more out of a person just having a normal, like if I were to meet you at your show, these are the same questions I would
right,
ask you. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's natural. Okay.
right.
So was there a point in your art career that you realized, okay, like I hit another level right now. Like right now, it's going, nowhere but up from right now.
Yeah, it would definitely be those moments where I would be doubtful, but only for like a split second. Sorry,
Mhm.
for like a split second, and then boom, just like another opportunity hit, or like boom, I got recognized by or validated by someone who's
Mhm.
kind of huge to me, and it's like whoa,
Yeah.
it's like I've definitely hit another level, and when I see that, that's what makes me feel like I hit another level. Like I
Yeah.
don't really look at my followers as if anything. I appreciate the people that support me, but I don't really rely on social media because I'm not even a social media type of person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for me having the passion and the love to share my work with people, which
Sure.
is like the easiest way to share myself with people,
Mhm.
I'd honestly just be out like I am right now, just out, just going to these events, just putting myself in these places, just
Mhm.
connecting with people and being in the places I love to be in and making those connections.
Yeah.
So yeah, so definitely I feel like the moment I would say the moment where I knew I was hitting another level when I made this big mural piece on this big canvas sheet for like a
Mm-hmm.
group exhibition, I knew I was hitting like another level for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Uh-huh.
And I knew I was just gonna keep rolling in opportunities after that.
Yeah.
But
Was
I can't even say that. I can't even say that.
yeah.
I can say when I've been hit with the opportunity to do the show, my first solo show this year, like in February they hit me and I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting close to the date and I'm doing pretty good so far with the work. So it's like this is the moment right now where I would say I'm hitting like another level in my
Yeah.
career for sure.
Okay. Oh, that's dope. That mural, was that the Wrong Life piece? The
Mm,
okay, all right. I want to talk about that one later because that's probably my favorite piece of yours. But we'll get into that in a second. Are
mm.
you self-taught artist? Or did you ever okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely self-taught.
Uh-huh.
It's just something that I've been doing since I was a kid, and especially with the direction that my work is taking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've learned to do a lot of figurative work
Yeah.
growing up because that's what I really like to do. I like to draw figures, limbs, bodies, especially facial features,
Mm-hmm.
eyes. And
Yeah.
that's something that's been creeping up on my work now. Like a lot of dang, I'm sitting right in front of it.
Uh-huh.
But there's a piece that I'm working on with eyes, and I really love eyes because they
Okay.
carry a lot of emotion inside of them.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm just seeing slowly creeping up back into my work.
Okay.
So I am self-taught and I've been making art since I was a kid.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure,
awesome.
yeah.
That's dope. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, with the ice. I was looking at this one piece earlier, the I'm about to explode on your okay, well, yeah, we'll talk about that. There's so much I want to talk about. We'll talk about the Etsy store after. But yeah, that's a phenomenal piece.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
love that one. Okay.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah. That's a lot of people's favorites. I fucks
uh-huh.
with that one too.
Yeah, that's a great one. Is there a group of artists where you live? Do you have other like-minded individuals like yourself that get together and talk or you go to galleries and things like that? And was it easy to find those people?
Yeah, they're definitely here. I would say there's a group of people in my city around my age that does the same things
Uh,
as me,
yeah.
and they are very driven. They're dancers,
Mm-hmm.
musicians, even painters, artists,
Mm-hmm.
songwriters, and it's just an overwhelming like amount of creativity
Yeah.
in the space that we're creating for our town now, and it's just amazing to see. And there's another artist friend of mine. He just had what did he have? He had a fashion show that I was in,
Oh,
where
okay.
he created custom pieces of his artwork on clothes, and he had his
Yeah.
own little fashion show, and it was big to me. He had about 15 plus pieces, and I got to be in it for him.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, that's
great
dope.
just being around that because even around that time, it's funny because it happened like a month or two ago. He had his fashion show, and
Okay.
I've always just wanted to dabble into clothes as well because that's something that I really love.
Yeah.
And to just be a part of another friend that's doing that, who's also an artist, is really inspiring to just be around that.
Okay. Yeah. That's good, especially when everyone's close in age too, because you're all coming up at the
Yeah,
same time. That's beautiful. I love that.
yeah, definitely get to relate to each other, and
Uh-huh.
n- it just lets you know you're not in it alone, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Because it could be lonely. It could be lonely being an artist, I'm sure. Because I mean, you're locked up creating all the time, and
Yeah,
you have to be by yourself. But like, I get it. It's nice to have that group of people around. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that about clothing because I could see a lot of your pieces that would work well with clothes. And you said that's something that you're interested in.
Yes, that's something that I just been coming up with ideas nonstop. Like I ask
Hmm.
myself, how would this look on this and that? And that's clothing, I feel like it's like another form of art within itself. And it's
Yeah.
just, I'm only just starting out. And with that being said, I'm gonna use what I have around me to create that for myself. And I can see as I get more acclaimed and everything, it really should start to fall even more in place.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna just worry about that and just dive into making clothing out of my art, just having wearable art, and that's something I want to dive into too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Okay. All right. A lot of the artists that I know, they dabble in a bunch of different like sort of artistic, hobbies and stuff like that. Is there anything else besides painting that you like to do to decompress or, spend your time doing other than art?
Yes, yes. I really love music. I don't have any like special equipment, but I really just find myself really so in tune with music at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I really I want to learn how to DJ because I can see myself doing that really well because
Yeah.
I love it. I love all types of music. I like reggae, funk,
Mm-hmm.
R&B, hip hop, rap, trap, all of that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just I just want to find myself DJing, and even I look up to I have a lot of inspirations that I look up to,
Mm-hmm.
mainly two that DJ, create art, doing this, doing that, and they
Yeah.
do it so seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I can see myself. That's what I would pinpoint as successful, just spending my time just being constantly myself. And I feel
Yeah.
like being creative, me being constantly creative is me being myself.
Yeah.
So I just want, I would want to learn how to DJ. I would want to, I would want to get into clothing, dabble a little bit in that.
Mm-hmm.
But painting is always going to be my
Yeah.
number one. It's going to be
Yeah.
my number one for sure.
Yeah. All right. So you're a traditional painter also. You ever thought about doing any digital art?
I've tried it. I've tried it, but it's not my thing.
Yeah.
I like to
Mm-hmm.
be more hands-on and I like to see the colors in front of me
Sure.
to really know what to do next and to have those raw materials in front of me to really work with. That's what I
Okay.
find the most fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no shade to digital artists
Sure.
because I've seen a lot of great digital art,
Oh yeah.
but it works differently for some people. But
Mm-hmm.
I just love being traditional. I just love having a brush,
Mm-hmm.
having the paint, pouring the paint, putting paint on the canvas, scribbling it out. I just
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. All right. That's good. All right. How would you describe your art style to somebody that's never seen it before? What would you say to that?
That's a really good question. I would say I would say my work really just describes a lot of the things that I don't say. And my work has a lot of emotion in it,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with the way that I show motion, it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
just shows a lot of emotion and personality in it, especially within whatever piece is being created. I would say like the piece tells a story within itself. And a lot of my pieces have a lot of elements in it and it has a lot that goes on and I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
that aspect.
Yeah.
So my work definitely has a lot of emotion in it and it just tells a story within its own. So the more that you look at my work, is the
Yeah.
more that you find out within it and the more that you can piece together of what's going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because when you hear, because when I hear it from other people, when they talk to me about my work, everyone has a different story or everyone just has their own related story to it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
a really fun thing to really see people so
Yeah.
engaged with my work.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm also looking forward to.
Uh-huh. No, that's great. Yeah. It really, I don't know. There's something about it. It really, like just going over all your pieces as I was preparing for this. It's like, man, I don't know. It's good. Very emotional. Like you said, there's some of the pieces, a lot going on and very detailed. And yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. Do you say you draw your inspiration? Is it more so your past? Is it your present situation right now? Or is it kind of a combination of the both?
Combination. It's definitely a combination.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I would try to reflect, my experiences in my past and what I'm going through now. I would try to
Mm-hmm.
translate that into my style of work and how I create that, because I would say now I have a very definite language in which I really create my work.
Oh yeah.
So I would use the way that I create and have my experiences and just really put that on to a canvas or the paper. So I would say it's a combination of that and
Mm-hmm.
really just also about how I'm feeling or how I felt,
Sure.
because it is a lot of emotion into it. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say a lot of what I felt within that moment or within the moment that I'm creating the piece. So I really just think about how, okay, so sometimes in my mind, I get a lot of pieces coming in at once for ideas for pieces at once,
Mm-hmm.
and when I just put a canvas in front of me, I just kind of think, okay, so what I just really ask myself this question, like, what do I feel would be the right thing to put on this canvas right now? A lot of it, a lot of my work is based on how I feel at that moment. So I could be thinking about something from the past that I could put on there, or I could be thinking about something that's happening in the near future or during the present. It's really a lot so about how I feel,
Yeah.
especially down to the colors. But do I feel right? What colors would look right with this? What do I
Mm-hmm.
feel would look good? It's not about what would look right, but how would I feel having those colors on there? Would
Yeah.
I feel good? Would I not like it? If I don't like it, then I'm going to change it to what I like
Yeah. Yeah.
so it all can match the mood.
Okay. Or not, I've seen you in your sketchbook, on your social medias. Do you sketch beforehand and then put it on the canvas? And I got another question before you answer that. You ever thought about selling the sketchbook like as a book itself once you fill it up?
Yeah, that's definitely a thought that I had. I would definitely want to sell it. I would
Hmm.
want to create a whole booklet of my sketchbook
Yeah.
because I've seen someone do that before, and it's like I would really just love if people would want to have a piece of my mind and just have something that's so personal to me
Yeah.
just within them and have that inspire them and move them. I would I would want I would want that. Like I would definitely want a book of my sketchbook.
Yeah.
And it depends. It really depends on the piece. If the piece is really complex or the image in my mind, I would sketch it out
Okay.
briefly before I would put it on canvas.
Hmm.
And I would just make every other gesture as I go.
Okay.
So yeah, very briefly I would kind of sketch it out
Okay.
beforehand. But if it's very
Sure.
detailed, then I would definitely sketch it on there. So I know exactly what I'm envisioning on there.
Uh-huh.
So it looks exactly how I see it through my mind.
Okay. Okay. Now I want to get into some of these pieces. I want to talk about, I think this is the first piece that I've seen of yours called I Win. It's the pool hall scene.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember seeing this, like,
Hmm.
oh man, I was getting like, I hate comparing people, but like a little Frank Morrison vibe. I was like, oh, this is an absolutely beautiful piece. And a lot going on with that one. Was there any sort of story behind that piece or just something you came up with?
All right, so I made two of them. So I win. It should be. Are we talking about the smaller one or are we talking about the bigger one?
Oh, the bigger one. Yeah. I think that's the
Yeah, so the
clearest.
bigger one,
Mm-hmm.
the bigger one was placed on New Year's. It was on New Year's. I went out to a pool hall with a really, really close friend of mine, and we went to go play pool down at the pool hall downtown. And downtown, the scene is always just very active. It's very lively.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take my surroundings and ask myself, how could I translate this onto a painting? Because I thought it would be something that would look really, really great on canvas. And I just wanted to ask myself, how could I portray what I'm seeing right now and what I'm going through just onto a canvas so other people
Yeah.
can really see
Yeah.
this moment through my eyes?
Yeah.
Because I also see creating art as also a moment in time, and you
Sure.
want people to really see that and to really see something that you see within
Mm-hmm.
yourself and through your own eyes. So,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a great piece. That's I saw that piece. I was like, all right, I'm following this artist. Let me see what else I got. All right, and
Right.
I want to talk about another piece when it's time to move. Or you wrote this description. I'm not sure where I got it from. Maybe it was on your IG or something, but I thought it was great too.
Mm,
It says the action of
mm.
trusting your intuition and knowing when to act and move forward with an idea or creation. It's the knowing on when to move on from a place or situation. Now, when you're creating a piece, do you
Mm.
know when it's finished? And when it's finished, do you ever go back to it and think, "Oh, I got to change this, I got to do this," or when it's done, it's done?
Yeah, I usually have those change it moments during the piece. So in a brief moment when I would look back at the piece, like stand a couple feet away, and I
Mm-hmm.
would ask myself, is this done? Is there something that I want to change? And I would change it right then and there. So honestly, like I do all of my changes during the piece. That's why there's so much movement going on in it. So I also just wanted my work to reflect that. Like, and that one is just about when you have something in your mind, you just want to move on it. You don't want to sit around. You don't
Yeah.
want to wait
Uh-huh.
because that's something in the past that I've just done a lot. I would sit around on it maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but
Yeah.
if you have that idea now, if you had that idea that just came out of nowhere now, it came to you for a reason. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like you should act on it now and either write it down or sketch it out or put it out into existence so you
Yeah.
have it out, not just in your mind. So it goes in your mind and then out the other ear.
Yeah.
Or if you have this idea of where you want to be or a place or a situation that you want to be in, then you should take that as a hint as if you should move in that direction.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in my life, I had a lot of people tell me I should do this, I should do that, or I just try I just try personally to follow the direction that everybody
Mm-hmm.
was going in, knowing that that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I had to take a really deep realization within myself, like, okay, is this where I want it to be? Is this the direction I want to go down? Is this what makes me happy? No.
Yeah.
So I can't keep following in that direction that doesn't make me happy. So I have to
Yeah.
really stray out from other people, no matter what vision that they have, it's not mine. It's not my vision. It's not what I
True.
see.
Yeah.
So I have to move in the direction that best fits me and trust that it'll all work out
Yeah.
because I don't have these signs. I don't have these visions for a reason. I don't
Yeah.
have these ideas for a reason. So that's why
Yeah.
that's like the reasoning behind that piece really came out.
Okay. And I had a specific question about that piece, and maybe it's just me looking into something that's not there. But that's what, like, I see a piece and I study it like for a while. Like if you ever saw me at a museum or a gallery, I'll be in front of a piece for like 15 minutes looking at it. But one
That's
of the head,
me.
uh-huh. And I
Mhm.
noticed that in that piece, one of the heads is turned backwards and the other ones are looking forward, like racing forward.
Mhm.
And so to me, my little interpretation of it is you're gonna keep going. You might want to look back, but then the last person is looking forward as well. So in
Mhm.
my mind, I'm thinking when I see this piece, okay, like what you said, you got an idea or something like that, you act on it right away. But even there's a little part in your brain that wants to go back and maybe sit on it, or maybe not have the confidence to do it. But then the last person in that line is looking forward. So that's I don't know that was my little interpretation of that piece. I absolutely love that piece. Great piece.
No, you hit it dead on the head. That's actually going to be one of the pieces that I'm going to show in my show. It's going to be
Yeah.
one of the pieces I'm going to put up.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
So
great.
you hit it dead on the head. So yeah, with
Nice.
the person that's looking backwards, is
Mm-hmm.
just looking back at the progress that's been made so far,
Yeah. Oh,
that's
okay.
been
Yeah.
made towards the new journey or the new path or the new
Mm-hmm.
location, even physically of
Mm-hmm.
where that person wants to be. It's just about, looking back at the progress and seeing that progress, but trying and working so hard to the point where not only you can look back on it, but you don't have to go back to that.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to go back
Mhm.
to that. You can reflect on it, but you have to keep moving. You have
Yeah.
to keep moving in that direction.
Now I want to talk about Wrong Life. All right. Now this
Mhm.
one, it makes me very emotional looking at this piece. All right, because it's. All right, let me start. You made this piece specifically for a show, for a group show.
For a group exhibition, it toured in about a couple different galleries across
Okay.
Fort Myers, Cape Coral,
Okay.
around those areas, and a couple of different ones, like two or three, maybe even four different ones.
Okay.
It was for a specific theme,
Okay.
and the theme was, how our marginalized communities. I may butcher it a little bit, but it's based
Hmm.
on, how our specific marginalized communities, are discriminated against
Yeah.
through through basically the world today.
Yeah.
And I chose something that I see and that's related to me, not
Yeah.
something that happened to me per se, but it's related. So the woman in the piece is a transgender male to female, and how because of who they are, they're unable to receive proper health care
Yeah.
and proper treatment to really support who they're trying to be and who they are.
Hmm.
And how not only that, but how they have to turn to a different source of income because that's the only way that they're
Yeah.
able to really provide themselves and to really carry themselves through life. So they
Hmm.
can get those name changes, they can get those surgeries, they can
Yeah.
get everything that they need to do. So I made the piece in the way where the transgender woman, where she's out on the street prostituting, because that's something that's common
Yeah.
within the community where a lot of transgenders turn to soliciting or prostituting in order for them to really get to where they want to be
Yeah.
because they don't really have that much support
Hmm.
in the actual real world. And I don't want to say real world, but they don't have any actual
Oh
support
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
society around them, you
Hmm.
know? So that's something that common that they turn to in order to reach a specific goal because they don't
Hmm.
never stay in that state. They just stay there in order to reach a goal. Some
Yeah.
do and some don't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to display that because that's not something that's widely talked about. And I know
Hmm.
with seeing that, I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about it and really think to themselves about what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So that's what I really
Yeah.
wanted to
No,
display with that one.
I love that piece. Um, I will say, growing up in LA, and this is not everybody or everyone's experience, and I'm not special, but a lot
Okay.
of things here have been accepted before it's accepted, anywhere else in the US. You know what I mean? So
Yep,
I've
exactly.
I've grown up, even as a kid, like being aware of trans people and just being aware of the community. You know what I mean? We used to
Mhm.
go, they used to have this Halloween parade in West Hollywood. And I've been maybe a little young to be going, but I've been going, they haven't had it in a while because of COVID, I don't think, but it was like
Right.
a big celebration of the community, you know what I mean? And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, thousand, I mean, that's a very busy part of LA, right? West
West
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Uh-huh. And
But
and they shut down all the streets and the parade goes on all night. And just experiences like that, being younger and even when I'm older, I think that's why that piece really hit me because I mean, I could never fully understand that struggle. You know what I mean? But I can, I don't want to say sympathize. That's not the right word. I can understand how society can look at a person like that that's in your piece and dismiss them. You know what I mean? Or the things that a trans woman will have to do, and like you said, in order to get these surgeries, in order to live a life in a place that doesn't really support them, especially like medically. You know what I mean?
mm,
So yeah, that piece really really spoke to me. I absolutely love it.
thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the Etsy store because I'm glad these prints are up. Because I was looking at it the other night and I was like, oh, there's nothing here yet. And then I checked it this morning. I was like, oh, okay, here come the prints. No, I saw you posted that the prints are up. That's what I went to go check it again. So
Yeah.
with the Etsy store, you was it 7 pieces up right now. Um, all prints for sale. Do you plan? I know this is kind of like the. Did you have stuff on there before, or is this the first batch of prints you're putting on your store?
Yeah, this is the first batch of prints I'm putting out right now.
Okay.
And I'm working on some more for sure. I'm working on maybe about 3 to 5 more pieces I'm gonna put on maybe in
Okay.
like the next month or two after the show.
Uh-huh.
So the show is gonna be in 2 months. So around then I'm gonna put out a couple more. And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep adding to it
Yeah.
because that's really my main focus right now is the art show. So
Hmm.
I'm really just gonna keep just making that my main focus while also everyone who's been supporting me and looking for the prints, they're right there.
Yeah.
Just keep promoting that.
Yeah. All right. So for your show coming up, then, hold on. Let's tell everyone where the show is at. There might be some people in Florida that want to go that watch this. Where's the gallery that it's going to be at? Where? Give me all the details.
So it's gonna be at the Alliance for the Arts Gallery. And I don't have the flyers yet because usually when galleries have shows,
Yeah.
specific solo shows, they usually wait till about, so it's in October. So
Okay.
around September is when I'm gonna have the flyers,
Yeah.
addresses, but it's gonna be at this gallery called the Alliance for the Arts in Fort Myers, Florida. And I'm
Okay.
gonna have an opening reception. I would say I think either October 7th. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
gonna be October 7th. I'm gonna have the opening reception and I'm definitely gonna be there.
Okay.
So if everybody's there and want to pop out and see my work in person,
Yeah.
I would love that. I feel like it's been a long time coming for sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah, people. I mean, if you're local, guys, go check out that show. Art show
Yeah,
openings are
come
one of
check
my
it out.
favorite things to go to. Also, that's like I don't like really
Same,
party or anything like that, but I'll go to a show opening, anytime. I absolutely love them. Okay, so for that
same.
show, did you have some pieces already made, or did you make some specifically for the show?
So I'm currently making work right now that's specifically for the show.
Okay.
Like I already had premeditated ideas that I haven't really put out yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the ideas are not only complex, I feel like these will work well with the show. So I out of a handful of ideas that I already had, I chose about 12 out of like the 20 or 24 ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked them out for the show, written them out, signed it, and sent the list off. So right now I'm really just executing it right now. So I would say I'm about 7 pieces in out of the 12.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
I'm working at a good pace. So I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
And I'm working at a fast pace because I want to also get my website up
Mm-hmm.
because I plan on just networking even more from there.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I plan on doing, a lot more risks. So that's why I'm really just going
Uh,
just
Yeah.
hard every day for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. You got to. You got. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. You got a good vibe about you, man. You got a good spirit. You are going to go far.
I
Mark my
appreciate
words.
that.
Social media, internet, everyone's got a phone. Everyone, people are get advertised to about everything all the time. And popular culture is just right in your face, right? Like I feel like popular culture is sort of dictated by like the powers that be, right? Like the advertisers, the record companies. I mean, it's right there in your face. And
Yep.
do you feel like popular culture has an effect on your art? Do you think that popular culture should set the tone for art, or that artists themselves should kind of push that envelope and maybe not become part of the popular culture, but be their own culture? If that makes sense to you, that the artist should be pushing the culture in the direction that they think it should go.
I definitely feel like we should be pushing the culture in the direction that we see fit because we are the artists and because popular culture is so popular. I think about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
because popular culture is so popular all the time, there's not hardly any originality left.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's this thinking that, there's no there's not really any originality because any great artist really studied up under or really got their references from another great. And
Yeah.
I solely and heartedly believe in that. But this day and age, because of popular culture, it's like everybody is creating, but not everybody is doing something
Mm-hmm.
that's true to them or something that's truly different. Everything is starting to look the same. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
is starting to look the
Yeah,
same.
that's the truth.
And we need, and I love that everybody's very creative because it really shows a lot into where the society is going.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there has to be more diversity. And I feel like we should make, as artists, we should make more of an effort to
Yeah.
do something different, to make something different, to really offer a different perspective because that's our jobs as an artist
Yeah.
is to really show the world something different and talk about something that's not really sort of talked about that needs to be talked about or something that that relates to you specifically
Yeah.
that another person could really take from, not something that's already seen and already done. I don't
Yeah.
really like work like that. And don't get me wrong, because a lot of people are subject to it, especially myself when just starting out. But I
Mm-hmm.
just had this I had this breakthrough where I just really just allowed myself to just be and to be present with my work. And that's why I really go off of more what I feel than rather than just popularity, what I think that'll do good or what the
Yeah.
next person is doing. Oh, this took off. Let me do something similar and this and
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's more than okay because I have people that I look up to.
Sure.
I have people that inspire me, but it's important to really take what you can from that, but not necessarily copy and paste.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
Uh-huh.
take what you see and take what inspires you and create something new out of it if we're gonna go that route.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's what I think about the culture and popular culture and how artists should really take from that
Yeah.
because it's our jobs to really be ourselves. It's
Yeah.
not our job to really
Absolutely.
follow popularity. I
Absolutely.
don't like that at all because I've
Yeah.
never really been that type of person,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, that's great. And you know what I noticed? Unless I missed something, and
Mhm.
not that there's anything wrong with it, I haven't seen you do any paintings of like rappers or actors or anything like that. And like I said, some of those are my favorite pieces. But
Mhm.
and I'm not shading anyone for doing that because a lot of people have great takes on famous people, but you don't have any. I thought that was interesting.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah, because no, go ahead, go ahead. I want to
No, I
hear
was
the
gonna
rest of
say,
your question
was
so I
that
can
was
go
that a
up.
specific thing? Is that do you is it just not something you want to do, or do you purposefully stay away from doing pieces like that?
It's just not really something that I really think about doing. I'll do it for like as a reference. It's like for practice to really practice up on my figurative and traditional skills
Mhm.
to sketch, but not necessarily as a piece that I want to push out.
Okay.
No, because I like to make pieces that make me feel, and I like to make pieces that make other people feel. So that's really like a personal preference to me.
Yeah.
So I don't really make work like that. And I like artists for what they create.
Hmm.
And like musical artists, like singers and rappers, I like them for what they create and how they can make other people feel. But not necessarily I would want to draw them because I appreciate them for what their craft is
Yeah.
because their craft inspires me to make some of the works that I create. It just really gets me in a flow state.
Yeah.
So, and if I look up to anybody, I would say I look up more so the painters and
Hmm.
like people who are similar to me more than I look up to celebrities as idols.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
I can say I can be a fan. I can be a fan, I can definitely be a super fan of specific
Yeah.
artists, music
Yeah.
artists,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't necessarily say that I would look up to them. I would say at the most they inspire me,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
any other big
Yes.
creator.
Yeah. I like the way you said that.
So
Yeah. That's the way it should be though, because I mean, people idolize some people with some suspect behavior. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay,
yeah,
you
all
can like
suspect
their,
shit.
yeah, you can like their art. That's fine, but people don't know. It's like they think that they're a part of this, singer or rapper's entourage, and you got to
In
defend.
life.
It blows my mind. That's I don't know. You know what? With the
It blows
advent
my
of the
mind.
internet, it's
Who,
crazy.
wait, do I know who?
What's that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
see it.
Mm-hmm.
I see it on social media where you see people who are actively looking on, what is Kim Kardashian doing?
Yeah.
What's Beyonce doing?
Uh-huh.
What's Kendrick doing? And it's just like I can admire an artist for even their flair of style and how they present
Yeah.
themselves.
Uh-huh.
And I would look at an interview of an artist more than I would look at what a blog post is saying.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
would look
Yeah.
at that more than anything because
Yeah.
that's where I can gain the most inspiration from an artist from.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
but at the most, I would never really like. I've never been one of those people that be like, oh, Drake just ate cereal today. I ate that cereal too. No,
It's
no.
crazy. Yeah. It blows my mind. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Do you think that there's a
Seriously.
an issue with people being authentic and originality because of social media? People want to portray a version of themselves that may not be exactly who they are. Do you think that that kind of messes up society in a way, because now people have two, three different personalities, one that, their family knows, or the one that they have on Instagram or Twitter. Do you think that it makes people less authentic, social media?
Yes, in a way, and in a perspective as if there's a lot of impressionable people that look up to said artists, said rappers, said
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's well known, and they put on a persona in front of at a large scale for the world to see. They put on like this, just a whole different persona than who they actually are when the
Yeah.
cameras are off.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that can affect a lot of people at any age. It can affect adults, teenagers, young adults, older people.
Mm-hmm.
It really can affect their mindset and say, "Wow, this person is successful." Meanwhile, this person's behind on rent and just got their car repoed, just
Yeah.
living a life that they're not
Yeah.
living.
Insane.
So, and I think about this a lot. Like, I don't want to live a life that I'm not currently living as myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just think about, one day, there's going to be a point in time where someone's watching and it's so impressionable and watching so closely. You don't want that person that's gaining inspiration from you to
Yeah.
really look at you like this one day and then notice another day you're being completely different. Like, I want to remain the same in every room that I walk in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, if there was like an art draft, I would have to recruit you to come to LA. All right, I would have to see what I can give up to get you out here. All right, I really like your vibe. All
I would
right,
come. I would come.
like I'm telling you, you'd fit right in, right in. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, we'll get to the end of the interview. It's another question I like to ask. If there was, imagine you, younger you, all right, thinking
Hmm.
about being an artist, thinking about how to convey what's inside your head, without using words, and someone that's not sure that they can do this professionally, what would you say to a person in that situation that's maybe thinking about giving up?
This is a really good question because I think about this a lot, even for myself,
Yeah.
because no one is perfect at all. So anytime. I would just tell myself to really just think about my younger self, literally to think about my younger self and just
Mhm.
think about how excited and happy I was to want to do this thing. And now that I'm doing it, like I can't stop now because this is who I'm doing it for.
Yeah.
You're doing it not for no one else. You're doing it for yourself, for your younger self.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
you did it and you're doing it and you can't stop now.
Yeah.
You have to keep going.
Yeah. That's great. I agree. 100% agree. All right. Well, where can the people
Plain
find
and
you at,
simple.
Jade? That is very simple. Where do you want the people to
So
reach you at? Instagram, Twitter?
Instagram, people can reach me at Griffin underscore dot Jade, Twitter underscore Griffin Jade, TikTok Griffin underscore dot Jade. And from there, they can find my Etsy and all of my art shows and anything that I'm doing. I'm constantly posting.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And guys, check out the Etsy store. Prints just dropped. They're absolutely amazing. Go support an artist, everyone. All right.
Definitely.
All right, Jade. Thank you so much for the time. This was great. And hopefully I'll talk to you again.